Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am talking. All right, welcome to. Let's go right on. We're going to learn today a little bit about HTML basics. So we're going to stumble through and figure it out together. HTML basics. I've got a list of things to learn. Let's just dive right in. All right, we are looking at myself on the Restream. We have opened up a file and it's red. I'm not quite sure why it is red. Let's make a new one. So let's go to open up workspace from file. We're going to close folder. There we go. All right. So we have a new space, a new thing. We're going to hit new file. We're going to call it index.html, HRML. Enter. And then it's going to ask us where to save it. I'm going to go to where I've been saving all these things on my file system. This is in Learning with Nada. This is a streaming, but this one I'm trying to do a kind of a course of sorts. So we're going to make it a folder called Learning. Let's just call it HTML Basics, because that's what I called this video. And we're going to call it right there. We're going to put the folder right in there. We have some extensions that I've previously tried to install that they're not signed up for, that I need to X out of. They're just kind of in the way right now. Alright, we're going to try and write this from scratch. Nothing. Let's see if we can do it. I have about 70% faith that I can. Let's go for it. Alright, an HTML document. I've got some things here some learning things. So first thing we're going to look at, structure and tags. HTML document structure. HTML documents have a specific structure that includes a doc type and a declaration of what it is. And then the page title element, the head section, and then body elements. Alright, so let's get rid of those things from the beginning. We have, right there, it helps us out in Visual Studio Code. We're going to do the open angle bracket, exclamation point, all caps doc type, like it says right there. And then we're going to close angle brackets. Yeah. I have forgotten. Let's do HTML right here. Well, here's my boilerplate. What's it say? Oh, inside the doc type I do it. HTML. No caps, HTML. Inside the angle bracket. And there we go. We have told any web page that views this document, imagine this is a Word document, that's what it is. This is going to be an HTML document. They're going to read it in the HTML language, the document type, doc type. And then we're going to do we're going to say here is all of the HTML. Here's everything. And so I typed in open angle bracket, HTML, close angle bracket, and Visual Studio Code helped me with the second part. I'm going to do that again, just in case it was too fast. Because I always feel like the beginning of this gets real tripped up. Open angle bracket, HTML, close angle bracket, and when I hit the close angle bracket, it automatically gives me the ending, the closing. This is the opening tag, this is the closing tag, and it's an HTML element. What to say here? Documents must have a title element to aid in navigation. Great. HTML element must have a language attribute, which we can do that right here inside of the HTML tag. So I'm going to put my cursor right between those two open angle bracket, close angle bracket, between the two tags, and hit enter, and it makes it go down. So then I've got some space to work with. And then click back up after the L, hit space, and type the word L, A, and G. And then, oh man, I've been using CSS now recently, and now I've gotten my brain mixed up. That's CSS, and HTML, you hit equal sign. It gave me the quotations automatically. So if it doesn't do that, you need to do that. Open quotations, and then we're going to do, is it UTF-8 something? What's my boilerplate say? Let's go to HTML. Oh, that doesn't say. Oh, I forget. Okay, so this is separate UTF-8. We're just going to put language English. Is that right? I don't remember anymore. So this right here is a pre-made thing that I made, so I wouldn't have to keep typing this again and again and again. And it does leave out the language. Now, there is a website that has a special little helper, cs50.ai chat. When you go to it, you have to go in, and it will force you to log in under GitHub. So you need to have a GitHub login, which is a Microsoft login, essentially, which is the same one that you're going to use for Visual Studio Code. We're going to connect Visual Studio Code to GitHub at some point. So you're going to have to need a GitHub login no matter what. Once you log in, we're going to ask in HTML. So this is a thing that we can ask questions, and it will give us back correct answers that are educationally appropriate. HTML. What is, oh no, how? How do you write the lang in the HTML tag, and why do we write it? In HTML, you specify language using the lang attribute. So, key thing to know about HTML, if you've forgotten, or if you're learning new to this, that you have an element inside of one of these angle brackets, and anything else you put right beside it becomes an attribute. Not anything else, but if you put something beside it, it becomes an attribute. So this lang right here is a language attribute. It identifies the language of the element. And since our whole web page is going to be in this HTML, we're going to say our whole web page is going to be the language of something. EN is what we should write. For example, if you're writing in English, you write HTML is the element, and the attribute you're giving the element. We're going to give HTML the attribute of language is English. We're giving English to the HTML. It's necessary for accessibility reasons, so people can use assistive technologies. This is great. Alright, so let's get rid of that. We have HTML, language, English. So this is the very basic. There is a web page that exists now. I have a special plugin called Live Server. Where is it? That's not it. I'm going to scroll down though. There we go. Live Server. This is what I have installed, and whenever I searched this for Live Server, clicked on this Ritwick Day, I'm not sure. Seems like people use it. It's useful. And then I hit, after you install it, this button appears, and you can hit the Go Live button, and it shows up over here. Currently, our web page has nothing, but it's there. It exists. All right, let's go back to our HTML. Get rid of our extensions. Close the extension information. We don't need the Explorer right now either. So we can get rid of the Explorer. Oh, where's the button for that? This is the button for that. There we go. Okay. We're going to reshape that. And so we have the document type, which has to be there for an HTML document. We have language and accessibility, EN, boom, got it. And now we need some more things. We're going to do the page title, which is what will appear where it says 127.0.0. We're going to replace that stuff with the title. So I'm going to tab over, like if you remember, whenever I had this and this together, I hit enter and it went to right here-ish. Right there. I hit tab. I've clicked right here on this cursor and hit tab and it went to there. And now I'm going to write open angle bracket title, close angle bracket. And it automatically gave me the closing tag of this element. The front section is called these are all opening tag, closing tag. The doc type is a self-closing tag. Nice. Don't need the end. Don't need a second one. HTML has an opening tag and a closing tag. All right, let's go back to the middle of that one. I'm going to hit enter. Actually, wait, I don't need to. This is going to be one line, and I have not thought about this. We're going to make a story web page. Stories for kids. How about that? Just made it up on the spot. Stories for kids. Why not? All right, and if we hit the go live button, it should save it and go live. It's not working, so let's have a look at it. Let's hit save. It says open a folder in the workspace. It says we don't have a folder. No folder. Open a folder. This is the folder. I'm confused. Open it. Is this our HTML? There we go. Now we got it. It's still red. I'm not quite sure why it's red. Open editors. Okay, that's our folder name. Nice. Folder. Let's hit go live. There it is. You can see it hidden there. Story for kids. This is gone. Story for kids. Got it. Cool. So now we're going to do more. That is the page title. And that is normally in a section called the head. So we're going to go back up to our HTML tag, the very end of it, the end of the line. And I have a nifty trick. Ready for this? Look at your keyboard. If you click anywhere on any line and you hit the word on your keyboard above my arrow keys, I have end. I can kind of show you arrow keys right here in the middle. This is end. You tap it, it goes to the end of the line. That's why the word. That's why it's there. It's for coding. All right, I put the cursor at the end of that line. Hit enter. And then I'm going to make a section called the head, which is, you guessed it, like the head of the body. And in the head, I'm going to put the title. So I typed in open angle bracket, HEAD, close angle bracket. It gave me the opening tag, closing tag. Then I hit enter. It made a space between. And now I'm going to copy this whole line, and I'll right click and show you. I'm going to cut, which is Command X on my computer, or Control X. And cut is the same as copy, except for that it removes it from the previous location. It's like you're cutting out off a piece of paper, and you're going to have it separate, but you still have it, and you can put it somewhere else. So I'm going to hit Command X for me. I use shortcuts most of the time. Command X, it goes away. Where is it? It's in the memory of the computer right now. For just a second. I mean, actually it's there until you restart your computer or copy anything or cut anything else. So I'm going to go put my cursor back up here. I'm going to hit tab a couple times. Tab, once. There it goes. I'm going to hit Control V or Command V. And there we go. Now we have the head there. And then let's make the body. Body. Open angle bracket, BODY, close angle bracket. Hit enter. And now we're in the body. And we want to use a heading. H1. We're going to make a big heading title on the page. This will first thing that shows up on the page. So we're going to make this over here again. And we'll see if it will live update. It's called live server, so should work, right? Should. Let's have it go. So I do open angle bracket, H1, close angle bracket. It gives me the closing tag. We're good to go. And we are going to call it Stories for Kids. Oh, I put story for kids earlier, didn't I? Stories for Kids. Stories for Kids. All right. Is there a go live button? It's right there. Let's hit. So I typed it all in. Cool. In H1, we're going to show you in a second something special about it. But we're going to hit save, which is File, Save, or Command S. I'm going to use Command S because it's a lot faster than going with your mouse. Click over here. So Command S. And over here, did it work? I refreshed on my web page. So there it is, Stories for Kids. I'm not a fan of that font. We can change the font. We'll do that in just a minute though. Because we're going to do something. We're going to copy this, select the whole heading. I'm going to select it all, Control C, that's how I copy, or Command C on a Mac. Hit enter. I put my cursor at the end of the line, and that deselected it. So I had it like that. I put the cursor here, and I hit enter, and it went down. And then I'm going to hit Control V, or Command V, and there we go. Now we're live. See, we have Stories for Kids, but we're going to do something. We're going to click right in here where that 1 is on the second title, and we're going to make it a 2. And we're going to see the example of H2 versus H1. So H1 is the biggest. It's like the number 1. Like you're the winner. You won the thing. Number 1, the biggest, H1. Most important thing on the web page. And when Google searches web pages, it looks for H1s. So you should only have one H1 on a web page. And we're going to copy this again. Control C, click at the end of the line, hit enter, Control V, and we're going to make it H3. How many can we do? H3, I'm clicking beside, you're changing the 2 to a 3. It's even smaller. Let's see if we can, I'm going to select all 3 of these. Control C, go to the end of H3, hit enter. I'm going to paste all 3 of them again. So we should have, there we go. Now we're making like saw lines. It goes like a saw blade where it's angled. That's not what we want though. We want to see how far this can go. This is how I do learning. I want to see if we can break it. Does it go? Oh. I showed the letter 5. Backspace 5. Backspace 6. Let's do it over here. Oh, we're getting smaller and smaller. 4, 5, 6. Now, if you'll notice, I didn't have to change this closing tag, but I'm not quite sure why. Just being completely honest right now. Looks like it worked without it. Maybe it'll always work. Maybe it won't. I would suggest making them uniform so it will always work. Control C. We're going to do it again. I've never seen H7. Let's see what happens. Will it go smaller? I'm going to erase that one. H7. H7. It has not. And I think this is what's happening. We're going to just copy just the stories for kids. Control C. I'm going to go to the end of the line, hit enter. Control V. And there we have it. H7 is just the same as a paragraph. So I'll show you what a paragraph is. We're going to go to the very beginning of this little text right here, below the H7, open angle bracket, P, close angle bracket. So if you want a paragraph of text, you can do a P, stands for paragraph. And we use that P element to make a paragraph. I'm going to copy, actually I'm going to cut the stories for kids. Control X. I'm going to hit paste. Control V. And there we go. Now if you'll notice, it put it on a different line. Before, when I had it just below, without the P's, it put it beside it. See right there? Not even a space. If I do a space here, does it do a space there? It does. But it didn't make a new line. If I do a new line here in the code, didn't change it. 2 new more lines, didn't change it. Now I'm going to test out something here. I like to break things. Why isn't this working? So we're going to copy paragraph. All right. And we're going to paste it between these two. So I copied this. Control C. I'm going to go back between H7, which is not an actual heading number, and stories for kids. I'm going to paste the paragraph. Let's see what happens. Oh, wrong button. It did it. This is what I thought would happen. This is not inside of the paragraph. This is still hanging out outside of anything. It's just in the body. And they call this an inline, a block element. So if you have things that are in the same line, like now, I erased that. This is imagining, the code reads from top to bottom. And it reads, all of these are separate. After the H1 closes, it says, go to the next line. This is a block element. But this doesn't have that. Sorry. I'm not sure it says it after that. Maybe it's at the beginning of it. I'm not quite sure how that works. Let's close this one and see if it has it. Oh. I think because the H7 was not an actual heading, it was treating it like a paragraph. Like an unknown element. Just a regular, yet to be used or defined element. Because something you can do is you can make up stuff in coding. In fact, that is the fun, awesome part. All right. So, we are going to keep going. So, in the body, we have all the headings. And I would say we're going to have this paragraph. I'm going to select the paragraph, Stories for Kids title. I'm going to cut it, Control X or Command X. And I'm going to put it right here below the title. And we don't need all these things. We're going to say a sentence here. Here's the sentence. We are going to make a sentence about stories for kids. Dive into a fun story for kids. There we go. It updated over here. This makes more sense. Here's the title, and here is a little explanation of it. And then we'll say stories about race cars. I don't know. And there we go. We're going to clean up our page real quick. Oh, wait. And so now, yeah, we're going to clean up the paragraph still in the body of our HTML document. We have the paragraph element. Oh, here we go. I don't remember how to use this. Oh, this is why I'm doing this over and over again. To remember these things. We're going to move on to links and images. Okay, so let's create a clickable link using the A element and set the href attribute to a certain URL. Let's go to Google Books for Kids. And see, let's go to Goodnight Moon. They have a website. 10 English books to delight any reader. Goodnight Moon. Look at these. These are fantastic stories. I don't know what Fluent U is, but English learning resources. Let's go to this one. Click on it. It goes to Amazon, of course it does. We're surfing the internet. Very hungry caterpillar. I bet there's a web page for this. Oh, here we go. You can read the book right here. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to copy that. Let's say stories for. We're going to change our title. Stories for toddlers. How about that? This is one that I think little kids like a lot. Stories, toddlers. You have to write what you want to see, don't you? Story for toddlers. And we're going to kind of jump down to, we're going to put our link right here, and it will be just sitting there, not very pretty, but we're going to come back to that in a minute. Now we're going to make a short little list. I have to sneeze. Woof. Sneeze time. Okay. We're going to go and hold on, I'm going to pause.